guys, you're welcome to the module 3 of TMFC. Now in the first two modules, we talked about the right mindset to have towards freelancing, and I also intimated you with what freelance is, what freelancing is, who a freelancer is. Now we've done all of those. We are now coming to the section where we'll be talking about freelancing platforms. Now the first thing we'll be talking about today is what is a freelance platform. Now, you've been hearing me talking about freelance, freelancer, and all of it. This is the main deal. This is the real business now. So what is a freelance platform? A freelance platform is a platform that connects freelancers to employers who are in need of their services. Now, I told you, for freelance to happen, someone needs to have a skill. Someone else needs to be in need of that skill. And then when that transaction happens, we have said that freelancing has occurred. So now a freelance platform acts like an environment that brings a freelancer and a client who needs the freelancer service, okay? In most cases, these freelance platforms also act as an escrow for payments and conflict resolution between the clients and the freelancer. So in the course of transactions, so when you have someone who has a skill and someone else who is in need of that skill, there are bound to be cases where you have disagreements, which we call disputes and all of that. So the freelance platform acts as dispute resolution agencies in such cases. Now, of course, there are lots of freelancing platforms globally, but for the sake of this course, we would be focusing on just a few of these freelance platforms. So we'll be looking at the top 5 freelance platforms. I'm just going to quickly run through them before I go to my screen to show you. The first one is Upwork. The second one is Fiverr. The third is Freelancer. Some people call it just Freelancer. Some say it's freelancer.com, but you understand. The fourth one we'll be looking at is People Per Hour. Some people call it PPH. And then the fifth one we'll be looking at is TopTal. So I'm just going to take you to my screen right now and show you this, a few of these freelance platforms, so you just even see what it is I'm talking about. So let's head on straight to Fiverr. Okay, so let's head on straight to Fiverr.com so that you can see how a freelance platform looks like. So to get to Fiverr.com, just go to Fiverr on your browser, Fiverr.com. Now, like I told you, it's a freelance marketplace, which means that people come there, clients who are in need of these services, comes to this platform to look for those people who can actually offer such services to them. Now, the people we are talking about are the people we call freelancers. Now, please keep in mind that sometimes these freelance platforms can also be referred to as freelance network. So when you hear freelance network, freelance platform, we are actually referring to the same thing. So now we have our Fiverr.com, as you can see on the screen. Now this is how a freelance platform looks like. You can see on the screen here, I've not signed in, but this is just the default. You see, I've not signed in. But you can see there are lots of services. You can see what is written here, popular professional services. There are lots of services that are being offered on Fiverr, okay? Now, as a freelancer, you are coming to Fiverr to offer your own service. Now, also, Fiverr has a space for clients to come to source for people who can meet their needs. So I'll just quickly open a particular service for you to see. Now, let's look at web design here. Now, just quickly wait for that to load up. Now, on web design, this is how Fiverr looks like. On web design, you can see a lot of sellers here. You can see we have about 628 services available, which means that we have about 628 freelancers who are offering this particular service on Fiverr. Okay, now you can see lots of sellers here. This particular one says I'll design full WordPress websites in 24 hours. The list goes on and on. These are all real sellers that are selling the web design skills. Now, it is not just web design that you can sell. You can see we have graphics and design, digital marketing, writing and translation, video animation. Let's just check writing and translation. So I'll just quickly check this for you to see. Now, on writing and translation, you can see there are different categories within writing and translation. So you can just quickly pick proofreading and editing. So you can just have a feel of how it works. Now, you can see on this particular service, you can see different sellers here who are actually offering these services to clients, okay? And you can see their starting prices and all of that. So this is just to intimate you with the whole freelance platform process. Now, the next one we want to look at is called Upwork.com. So I'm just going to quickly go to Upwork.com and then wait for that to load up. Like I told you, we are looking at just the top 5 freelance platforms, and I'm just going to go through them. Now, I have an account signed in on this, but this is still how the Upwork platform looks like. I'm just going to, you can see lots of jobs that are posted here. These are all these jobs you can see right on the screen. These are real people, real agencies, real companies that are currently on this platform seeking for freelancers to help them with their needs. And so this is how the Upwork platform looks like. Now, Upwork is pretty straightforward. Unlike that of Fiverr, this is how Upwork looks like. Now, I also mentioned some other platforms. They are all similar in nature and how they are all designed. So don't really fret. But for the sake of this course, we would be focusing on Upwork as a freelance platform. Like I told you, it is called a freelance platform or a freelance network. Okay, so now I've showed you how this freelance platform looks like. We went through Fiverr, I showed you Upwork, and I told you the other freelance platforms that I mentioned, we have TopTal and the rest of them, they are all similar to them, but for the sake of this course, we'll be focusing majorly on Upwork. Now, for the fact we are focusing on Upwork, I'm going to try and compare Upwork to other freelance platforms so you can understand why I am advising and recommending that we focus on Upwork, just because of the earning capacities, the opportunities, and everything that's available within Upwork. So I'm going to quickly compare Upwork with other freelance platforms. Now, the first thing we are going to be looking at in this comparison is the nature of clients that come to this platform. Now, for Upwork, we have top brands that come to Upwork to hire freelancers. We have real top brands, high-paying clients on Upwork. If I compare that to other platforms like Fiverr and Freelancer, of course, we also have top brands that come to these platforms. But when we compare, the quality of these brands, by far we can say that Upwork has way better clients. Okay, Upwork has way better clients. For Fiverr, you have really low paying clients that come to Fiverr, just because when Fiverr was actually created, the idea was to offer services that are, $5. That is why it is called Fiverr. Though, of course, we have big brands who come to Fiverr, but it cannot be compared to the quality of clients that we have on Upwork. The same thing goes with other freelance platforms like Freelancer and the rest of them that I mentioned earlier. Now, the next thing we'll be looking at is payment protection. Now, for payment protection, Upwork offers solid payment protection, which means that they offer payment protection for clients and for freelancers, which means that when you offer your service to a client in need of your service, you are guaranteed payment. But for Fiverr and some other platforms, well, the truth is you can easily get scammed, because there are some people that can come on the platform to order your service and they end up not paying you. In some cases, they can even pay you and then they go back to their banks to request a chargeback. And then at the end of the day, Fiverr doesn't cover that payment. So you've technically worked for free, you've wasted resources and all of that. This is another point where Upwork beats other platforms, Fiverr and the rest of them. Now, the third thing we'll be looking at is freelancers protection. Now, you want to take your service to a freelance platform that actually protects you. So you know that they have your back. When you're working, you are going to get paid. When a client, which is some case I'll call them trouble clients, when trouble clients come to you, you are guaranteed that if you go to a dispute resolution with issue, if you raise a dispute with that client, Upwork can actually stand for you if you are not to blame. Okay, so this is another point where Upwork beats other platforms. Now, for Fiverr and the rest of them, well, the truth is this: I've worked on Fiverr and some other platforms. Now, when you work on Fiverr, if a client raises a dispute for the work you did, trust me, Fiverr is not going to look at if the client is right or not. They automatically settle that dispute in favor of that client. So even if you spend so much money on the job and then you've completed the job for 2 weeks or 1 week, however long it is, Fiverr will still rule in favor of such clients. The same thing happened in some other platforms. So these are some of the reasons I'm trying to point out to you why you should start your freelancing career on Upwork. And if you've been into freelancing before, you can also migrate to Upwork. We are still going to look at another one, which is quality job posting. Now on Upwork, we have real quality job posting, real quality jobs that are posted on Upwork when compared to Fiverr and the rest of them. Now the next one we'll be looking at is fair ranking algorithm. Now when we talk about a freelance marketplace, now something you should understand is a lot of freelancers are coming into the marketplace and a lot of clients are coming to meet freelancers who can offer services to them. Now each of these freelance platforms has an algorithm that actually ranks how these sellers should be showcased on the platform. Now, I've worked with a couple of them, and Upwork seems to be the platform that offers, low level of entry for all freelancers, even if you are old or new. Upwork is a platform that you can just go there and open an account today, and Upwork gives you a chance. Unlike Fiverr, you need to do a lot of ranking. There are lots of, tricks and all of that you need to do. But on Upwork, it is not so. You can open an account on Upwork this week with the right account optimization and all of them. You are guaranteed, an audience with Upwork. So this is another point where Upwork actually beats Fiverr and other platforms like I mentioned earlier. Now the next thing we'll be going into is better and cheaper commissions. Now this is actually very tricky. Something you should understand is when you go to a freelance platform and you say, okay, I want to sell my skill, I want to sell my service on this freelance platform. This is how it works, okay? Now, the freelance platform gives you an audience, which is the clients that needs your service, and then you are offering your skill. Now, you don't expect that you go to a platform who gives you clients and then you pay them nothing in return. So it means that when you work, when a particular order is completed, let's say, for example, a client comes and says, okay, I want to design my website. How much are you going to do it? And then you charge the client $100. Now, after charging the client $100, once the job is completed, it is expected that the freelance platform would charge a certain percentage of that order that has been completed. Now, the percentage varies from platforms to platforms, and I've taken time to make my research based on my experience, and I've actually compared them to actually bring to you the best commissions you can get out there. Now, again, let's start with Upwork. Now, Upwork actually offers, cheap commissions. Now, their commissions start as from 20%, which means that when you complete an order, they charge you 20%. But that's not just it. The 20% they charge is for the first $500. So let's say, for example, you work with a client and you charge the client $1,000. Upwork is only going to charge you 20% commission for the first $500. For the next $500, they'll charge you 10%. For the next $500, they keep reducing the commission, and it goes as low as 5% per commission. That is really, really low. Now let's go to Fiverr and the rest of them. Fiverr charges you a flat fee of 20%. If you like, you earn $20,000 on the job, they still charge you 20% on all the jobs that you complete on the platform. Now, the last point I'm going to be looking at is how friendly is the freelance platform. Now, Upwork is very user-friendly. Now, when we start creating accounts and doing all of it, you are going to confirm this yourself. Upwork is very, very beginner-friendly, unlike Fiverr and the rest of them. So I think I've been able to compare all of these platforms. I've introduced you to what freelance platforms are, and I believe that you've actually followed me through. Please take your time. You can go back, you can stop this video, go back and rewatch everything I've said so that you can understand every part of this video. I also showed you Upwork on the screen. I showed you Fiverr, and then I talked about other platforms that you can actually take your freelance business to. But like I said before, we are focusing on Upwork for the case of TMFC. And also, I've tried to compare Upwork to other platforms so that you can see why we decide, hey, it is Upwork we are actually using. So I believe you've been with me from the beginning of this till this point. and I'm looking forward to see you in the next module.